Productivity. It's a buzzword that everyone uses. And there's lots of videos and lots of content out there around productivity. And for good reason, because everyone wants to improve their productivity. And you see, I'm like that too. I want to become more productive. I want to get more things done. I want to tick off things off my list and I want to achieve my goals. But there seems to be one really annoying thing that keeps stopping me from doing that. And that's my iPhone. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on my phone. If you're like me, I spend a lot of time scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through social media, and wasting time and using productivity's devil friend, procrastination. Yeah, procrastinating a lot. And this year, I've decided to make a change. I've decided that I want to declutter my iPhone. I want to make it more productive, get rid of apps that I don't use, file things in correct places. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the process of how I've decluttered my phone, made it far more productive, got rid of all the things in my phone that potentially are really distracting, and actually just cluttering up my phone, and hopefully at the end of this video show you the ways in which you can make your phone much more productive as well. But one of the main catalysts and reasons why I wanted to declutter my phone is I decided to upgrade. So for the last 5 years I've had the iPhone 8 Plus and that phone served me really well, but it was definitely time to upgrade to something a bit more, well, better, that had a better camera, better battery, etc. And I did the classic thing of downloading all the data onto my new phone. And I just thought, I've got this new phone and all these random apps over the last 5 years that I just don't use. And it got me thinking, why do I have all these on my phone? Why do I have all these apps? And then I started to think, how much time do I spend on certain apps, like social media? And then I started to really look into it and think, I'm actually spending a lot more time on my phone on things that aren't productive and I'm just simply wasting time. So all of this came together and I thought, you know what? It's time to sit down, reevaluate what I've got on my phone and think, is this something that's bringing me value, that is helpful, or is just a hindrance and actually just a waste of gigabytes and data on my phone? And I did a little bit of research because I wanted to see how the average person, like you and I, would have on their phone. How many apps would they have? It was interesting to find out that an average user has around about 40 apps on their phone. And as soon as I realized that 40 was the average amount of apps on someone's phone, I knew that I was a serious app hoarder. So what I did was I individually counted how many apps I had on my phone, and the footage I'm just showing you now is just me scrolling through my old setup, the screen recording of what I had on there. And as you can see, it is an absolute mess. I have pages and pages of apps, random stuff that I've downloaded over the years and just simply not got rid of. I just counted individually how many apps I had. And interestingly, I also made sure not to add or count those sort of standard apps like maps, the calculator, etc. Because I really wanted to understand how many apps I literally downloaded myself and was like, I want this on my phone. And the numbers came in and it wasn't good.
It's not looking good, Bev. It's not looking good.
I had 216 apps. Yeah, that is 216. That is 4.4 times more than the average person. So I knew that I was, yeah, a little bit of an app hoarder. So I knew straight away that I had to declutter and start to evaluate those apps. And one of the real telltale signs, and is actually the first step to kind of decluttering my phone, is just looking out for the little icon below those apps, which is the iCloud icon, which is essentially a way you can set up on your phone that if you don't use a certain app for a period of time, which I believe to be about 14 days, essentially Apple uninstalls that app and kind of saves it in the cloud, which is why you get that cloud icon at the bottom of your app. And that's essentially a good telltale sign for you, and definitely for me, that that is an app that I definitely am not using. I think over a 14-day period, and particularly how much I use my phone, if I'm not using a single app in a 2-week period, most of the time it's safe to say it's an app that isn't of any value, that I don't use, and that just doesn't need to be there. And so that was kind of step one for me, was look at those apps that had that iCloud icon and realizing, okay, these are probably apps that I don't need, don't want, and are bringing no value to me. So that was step number one, evaluating apps that I simply just was not using. So step two for me was evaluating the apps that I was going to keep on my phone, where I was spending my time, and if they were an app that was productive and helpful and working towards my goals, or an app where I was just simply procrastinating and wasting my time. So I really wanted to understand, looking at the data that I had on my phone, looking at the screen time, of where I was spending my time. So I reevaluated the last 7-day period and really wanted to understand where I was spending my time. So in total, I was using my phone 29 hours in that 7-day period, which to some might be a lot, to others maybe not so much, but definitely a healthy chunk of time spent using my phone. So of that time, I realized that I was using 16 hours of that for social media. So that's things like Instagram and TikTok, apps and things I mentioned at the beginning of the video that are culprits for my procrastination. So I knew straight away that these apps were ones that I had to make sure weren't on the front page of my phone, weren't readily available for me to click on just without me thinking about it. So I made sure that they were going to be on the second page of the screen and away in a folder. So less obvious to see, and making sure that it was away and not easily as available as it potentially was in my old phone setup. The ultimate thing I could do is delete them. And yes, that is something that I have thought about, but ultimately I still believe there's value in those apps, used less frequently. Third and final thing I did as part of this process to improve my productivity by decluttering my phone was probably the most important thing, is evaluating notifications and applying focus mode. So I work from home. I sit behind a computer all day, and I can easily and very frequently use my phone. And every time a notification would pop up, a call, a text, even just Pinterest telling me that I've got some boards to check out, I would be distracted. I would glance down at my phone and I would go, oh, what's that? And even if it was something like TikTok like or a notification on Instagram, I would be distracted by it. And then I would look back at my screen and think, what was I doing? And I lose that focus. And there's loads of kind of studies that talk about prolonging focus and increasing productivity. And your phone is one of those things that is trying to fight for your attention constantly by sending you notifications and doing whatever it can so you pick up your phone. So what I've done is applied focus mode. And there's various different ways you can apply focus mode on your iPhone, and I'm sure there's similar ways you can do that on Android. But on my iPhone, what I've done is I've set up rules on my phone for focus mode for Monday to Friday, and particularly in work hours. So from 9 until 1, my phone is in focus mode. It is going to stop notifications coming through. I am not going to get WhatsApp messages. I'm not going to get any particular social media platform popping up. The only thing I've allowed is phone calls. I think, if someone needed to get hold of me in emergency, I probably should be able to answer a call. So that's the one app in that period of time that is going to be able to send notifications. I then have a lunch break, which I allow myself the opportunity to check my phone and look at social media apps or just review the notifications. And what I found actually the last 3 or 4 days that I've been doing this is it's quite nice in a way to kind of bring all together all those notifications and look at it all in one go. Once lunch had finished, I'd set another focus mode for the second part of my day, again to limit distractions and essentially finish that at 5 o'clock. So those work modes, focus modes from morning, break in the afternoon for lunch, and then back on again for the afternoon. And I have noticed a significant increase in kind of my productivity over those last couple of days that I've had it implemented. So I think it's definitely something to have a think about, because it definitely has made me more focused and made me pick up my phone far less. Bonus tip I've got for you that I've also implemented is getting rid of notifications on particular apps. You'll notice, and I'm sure everyone has noticed it, and I've probably triggered a lot of people, how many notifications I had on my email app. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not proud of it either. There is a lot of emails on there, and I am guilty. I'm one of those people who just let that number tick right up. It's almost like a goal. How high could I let that number go? But actually, now that I've taken the time to really work and focus on creating an environment on my phone that is a lot simpler, easier to understand, I have realized that actually having these notifications is just not helpful in any way. So I have gone to the trouble of making sure to reduce down the amount of apps that have notifications on them. And when I get notifications, reviewing those and just getting rid of them. And actually, that has led me to realize how many emails I get a day based on that notification, going from 0 to 50 in one day of thinking, how many emails am I getting? So that has now led me to clearing out my email inbox by unsubscribing to random emails that I've been getting for the last however long. And so it's been a real chain reaction from reviewing my phone to actually starting to review wider things like my email. So that's essentially the process that I've done over the last week or so, really hoping to increase my productivity and actually just reduce the amount of times that I'm going to be distracted by my phone. If you have enjoyed this video, I'm dedicated now to kind of making more content around productivity, around finance, around just lifestyle content in general. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please do drop a like. It really helps a small channel out like mine. And also, if you feel like it, why not subscribe? It's free, and I would really, really appreciate it. Enjoy the tips, guys. I hope it has helped, and I'll catch you in the next one.